guys, I'm back, and today I'm going to be doing an update to my makeup inventory. I'm going to talk a little bit about numbers, and then I'm going to take you through how I store everything and how everything's fitting. I recently did a reorganizing and decluttering, but I didn't really talk about numbers, so here's where I'm going to talk about what area of my collection grew, what area of my collection got smaller. I did a lot of panning last year, but I also still did get some things. So that is something I like to keep tabs on, because if you just asked me on a random day how many eyeshadow palettes do you have, I don't know if I would be able to come up with the right answer, but being able to actually look at the number, I can be like, that's a lot, or oh, that's less than I thought it was, and it's just a good reset. So without further ado, let's hop straight into it. So firstly, just going through all the numbers, I decreased my primers by 4, which is really good, but I do include minis in this, and so mini primers are obviously much easier to use up than full size, but I think it was like half and half that I managed to use up. And then foundations have stayed the same. I had 3 at my last check-in in July of 2023. By the way, that's what I'm comparing this to. I try to do this once every 6 or so months. And then I did add a new category, which is color correctors. I got this Exa high fidelity color corrector in the green shade. I was very much influenced by Hannah Louise Poston. I will talk about that product more, but I did add that instead of considering it a concealer. I have considered it a concealer in the past, but I just decided to make my own category. So that one went up because I didn't have any before, and now I do. My concealers also grew a lot, and my powders grew a lot, and so I have pressed powder now, and I got a little mini gift with purchase powder, so I have 2 more than just my Coty Airspun, which is what I had for a while. And then bronzers stayed the same. Blushes and face palettes both went up, which is surprising because I would think that face palettes would have gone down. I feel like I've given stuff away, but I think I got a gift with purchase little mini Lancome one, and that's where it grew by 1. And then highlighters have stayed the same. I've done pretty good on that. Single shadows has stayed the same. I decreased by 1. I have gotten another single shadow. I just got rid of more than what I've accepted into my collection, and I've now kind of reorganized that section of my makeup. Then for shadow palettes, I did grow by 1. Eyeliner, I'm down 3. I did a big cull of that because there were some that were expired, there were some that had just completely dried out, and so I'm trying to be better about eyeliners, because once they start to get dry, it's not necessarily that they're unusable, they're just much less fun to use, in my opinion. I feel like a nice creamy eyeliner is so much better than an eyeliner that like crumbles and drags, especially on such a delicate area. Then mascara went down. This one rarely goes up. It really only goes up if I get like a bunch of minis, or if a bunch of people give me mascaras. I rarely will like buy a mascara if I have ones at home. Actually, I don't think I've ever done that. Then for facial spray, I'm still at 1. It's still my MAC one. I think I had a different one this time last update around July, but I'm just 1 in, 1 out, and that's the goal with face spray. For brow product, I went up by 1, and I got a brow pencil that has been actually really helpful when I'm on the go. Lip gloss has gone down. Tinted lip balms have gone down. Lipsticks have gone down, and liquid lipsticks has stayed the same. So all of that considered, I'm really happy just to be slightly downsizing my lip product collection. And most of all, if you are not watching my lip roulette series, that's going to be kind of a year-long decluttering process where I try everything, and I'm trying to use as much in my collection as possible. So if you like declutters, that might also be a good route, because each video I'll be talking about what I want to get rid of, what I want to keep, all of that stuff. So that's good to know. The only category of lip that did go up was lip liners and pencils, and that's just because I've been gifted a lot. and I didn't really get rid of them because I like lip liners and I feel like they don't take up a lot of space. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, I can just keep all of them, even though they do take up space and I need to use them. So that's something that I could probably work on more, but whatever. And then a category that shouldn't really be a category anymore is lip palettes. I don't foresee myself getting another lip palette. I don't think that they are the most functional for me. I think for like makeup artists or people who just do YouTube full time or someone who makeup is their job, maybe it's more functional. But for me, I don't want to carry around a full palette with me and then when I'm like at the doctor's office and just like reapplying with a little lip brush that I have to, no, it's too much work. I don't care. I want to just be able to like not thinking about it in the back of the car, in the car to stoplight, touch up, done. So that's something that I do not foresee myself getting any more of, and I got rid of all 3 of them, so now I'm at 0. So that is all of the numbers, and now let's go in and I will show you what my makeup setup is looking like right now. As usual, here's my everyday makeup. It's definitely a little bit overflowing, but that's okay. And then I have my Pan Those Eyeshadows palettes in here so that they're easy to reach. Lip products, lip liners, and then I do have some things over here that are needing to be put away. I'll do that after I film, but I've just kind of reached for them over the past few weeks. And then if you're not familiar, this is how I store the rest of my makeup. Obviously, sometimes there's some random things floating in here, but this system with the bags of different categories works really well for me, and I'll explain why as I go through. So for this system, I group things based off of the way that I use them, not necessarily the way that they're technically labeled. So for example, in that bag, there's base products. This has just been floating around. That should go with brushes, but this is a liquid highlighter, but I don't use it as a literal like highlighter on my face. I use this as a step before foundation, like as a primer, or I mix it in with a primer or a foundation or something like that. So if I put it with my highlighters and I want to reach for something glowy, I just won't ever reach for this because it's not in the step that I need it to be. Because every once in a while when I'm doing my makeup and I'm just playing, I will reach into this tin and this tub and I'll just grab something. So this has got powder. This is just like a smaller container that I put Coty Airspun in when I need to travel with a loose powder, mini loose powder, foundations, primers, concealers, and then glowy bases. So this is everything that I need for complexion. Then I have brushes where I will add this in. And then this is where some lip products go. And frankly, I could probably move all of my lip products into one bag at this point. I do have a lot of total lip products. I think I have like 140 total, which is way too much. A lot of them are minis, which is part of how I justify it to myself. But panning and all of the things that come with that has really put into perspective how long it takes to use up a gloss. And this is definitely a system that I could stand to niche down a little more, but for now I really like all of my products, so I don't want to start just getting rid of things for the sake of getting rid of them. Here is highlighters, bronzers, and blushes. I have a couple duos in here, but larger face palettes I keep with my other palettes. So if I want a highlighter or a blush or anything like that, this is where I reach. Obviously, some of these things have been in Project Pans before, and this Stila one I could probably put with my complexion, but I also do use it as a regular face highlighter, which is why I put it here. So this is all complexion, which has been remaining pretty steady over the past couple of years. And then now we get into palettes. Obviously, there's some kind of random things in here. I also keep lashes in here, and then little palettes go in here. And I've got some little ones still out, but then we've got larger palettes. This is obviously not including the ones that I'm panning in some way, shape, or another. And then I've got a few face palettes up here. Here's another face palette. And these I know about. Like, I could name all of my face palettes, I think. I've got my NARS one, my Hourglass, my Rach Loves, got a Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter Duo, and I've got 2 little Lorac duos. So knowing that I know what all of my face palettes are, I don't feel the need to put them in their own category because I can really easily reach for them when I need them. And then some of my palettes are weirdly shaped, so they get kind of like shoved, and this Tante Beauty one is too big to set up like this, like my other ones are. So it sits at the bottom, but I know it exists and I love it, so it's not going to be neglected. And then I used to have separate areas for liquid and single eyeshadows and other eye products, but now I've condensed it down to where they all fit in this little bag. As you can see, I've got 2 loose single eyeshadows, and then the rest is mascaras, eyeliners, all of those good things. And so they all live in here. So that is everything that I have today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, I will link my inventories and declutters. I have a playlist that includes all of those kinds of things down below for your viewing pleasure. Again, if you haven't checked out my lip roulette series, I'll link that down below as well. My intro just went up, so my first update should be going up next week from when this is going up. And most of all, I hope you're having an incredible, awesome day wherever you are, and that I get to see you in a future video. Thanks, guys!